Uzor was a man in his early 30s, but sorrow had bent his back and aged his face beyond his years. Once, his laughter rang through the compound like morning bird song, but that joy died the day his only daughter was taken by the cold hands of death. Every evening, Uzor sat beneath the old iroko tree at the edge of the village, clutching her tiny wooden doll and asking the sky questions that gave no answers. "Why is death so wicked?" he cried. "Why does it take the innocent and leave pain behind?" The elders said time would heal him, but time only sharpened his grief. One night, as the moon hung low and red like a wounded eye, Uzor's sorrow turned into anger. He beat the earth with his fist and shouted into the darkness that he wished to see death face to face. "Let him come," he roared. "I will fight him with my bare hands." The wind grew still, the insects went silent, and the iroko tree creaked as if it were listening. Uzor did not know that the spirits had heard his challenge, and that some wishes, once spoken, cannot be taken back. From the shadow beneath the iroko tree, a cold presence rose like mist from a grave. Death appeared, not as bone and skull, but as a tall, dark figure cloaked in moving darkness, with eyes that glowed like dying embers. The air smelled of dust and old tears. "Uzor," the voice said, "heavy and endless, you called for me, and I have come." Fear gripped Uzor's heart, and his legs trembled like palm leaves in a storm. He turned to run, but the ground hardened beneath his feet, holding him fast. Death stepped closer, and the night itself seemed to shrink. "You wish to fight me," Death said calmly, "yet now you flee." Uzor fell to his knees, shaking, his anger swallowed by terror. But death did not strike him. Instead, death reached into the darkness of his robe and brought out a necklace made of dull black beads, cold as river stones at dawn. "I cannot be fought," death said, "but I can be witnessed. Take this. Whenever I am about to take a life, this necklace will appear on that person's neck, seen by you alone." Trembling, Uzor agreed, unaware that knowledge can be a heavier burden than ignorance. At first, Uzor thought the necklace was only a dream. But days later, at the marketplace, he saw it hanging on the neck of a laughing trader. Before sunset, the man collapsed and died. Uzor screamed and ran, but no one else had seen the necklace. Soon, he began seeing it everywhere, on farmers, children, elders, and travelers. The village drums beat for funerals more often, and Uzor's heart broke again and again. Death had not given him power to stop fate, only eyes to watch it unfold. Worse still, the necklace appeared on those closest to him. His childhood friend, his aunt who raised him, and even the woman who brought him food each morning, one by one, marked and taken. Uzor tried to warn them, but they laughed or grew angry, calling him mad. Each death crushed him deeper into despair. He realized that death was not cruel in the way humans are cruel. Death was simply unchanging, unstoppable, and blind to love. Uzor began to understand that his challenge had not defeated death, it had bound him to sorrow even more tightly. Broken and exhausted, Uzor returned to the iroko tree where his sorrow was born. He fell at its roots like a wounded animal and wept until his tears soaked the ancient earth. "If you must finish me," he cried, "then come and finish me." The night listened. The wind withdrew, and from the stillness, death returned. Taller than memory, heavier than regret, death stood before Uzor without anger or mercy. You have watched fate, death said, his voice deep as buried drums, but watching alone has bent the world. Death then laid before Uzor a choice that clawed at the bones of his spirit. Uzor could keep the necklace and live, but from that day forward, everyone he loved would be marked first, before strangers, before enemies. Or Uzor could break the necklace forever, by speaking aloud the name of one innocent soul, condemning them by his own tongue. Death leaned closer and spoke the final cruelty. If you choose neither before the third night ends, I will choose for you. Uzor remembered the proverb of the elders, when a man dances with death, he must hear the drums to the end. For 3 nights, Uzor wandered the village like a ghost. He watched his aunt sleep. He listened to children laugh. He held his chest as his heart fought itself. To live meant endless sorrow. To choose meant becoming what he hated. By the third night, Uzor returned to the iroko tree shaking, hollow, and whispering another old truth, the hand that points at evil must first wash itself. Death waited. At dawn, Uzor stood beneath the iroko tree, the necklace hanging cold and heavy in his trembling hands. The village was silent, too silent, as if even the spirits were holding their breath. Death stood before him, unmoving, waiting. Speak the name, Death commanded. Uzor opened his mouth. No sound came. The forest leaned inward. The wind stopped. Somewhere far away, a bird cried once and fell silent. Uzor's lips trembled as if the word itself was fighting him. Then, barely louder than a breath, Uzor spoke his own name. The word recoiled. The ground shuddered beneath the iroko tree. The bark split with a sound like a slow scream. Shadows fled from the light, then crept back again, unsure. Even death stepped backward, just one step, but enough to shake the laws of night and day. Tears ran freely down Uzor's face. Let it end with me, he whispered. If a life must be taken, take mine. For the first time since time began, death did not answer. The silence stretched, too long, too heavy. Uzor's heart pounded as though trying to escape his chest. He wondered if this was what dying felt like, not pain, but waiting. Finally, death spoke, but his voice was changed. A man who names himself breaks the law, death said slowly, but some broken laws do not bleed. They watch. The necklace cracked. Not shattered, cracked. A thin line ran through the black beads like a fault in the earth. Dust did not fall. The necklace still held together, trembling in Uzor's hands as if undecided. Uzor gasped as something tore loose inside him, not his life, but something deeper. His warmth drained. His shadow stretched unnaturally long behind him, then still. You will not die today, death said. And you will not live as before. Death leaned closer, until the dying embers of his eyes filled Uzor's vision. You will walk between breath and silence. You will hear what others cannot. You will see what others must never see. The necklace slid from Uzor's hands and vanished into the soil. Death began to fade, but his final words lingered like a wound that would not close. When next we meet, Uzor, you will not be a watcher. Then death was gone. The sun rose, but its light felt wrong. Uzor stood alone beneath the iroko tree, alive, unchanged, yet no longer whole. As he turned toward the village, he did not notice what had begun to appear behind him, a second shadow, not shaped like any man. And far away, unseen by Uzor, faint ash marks bloomed on the shadows of certain people, marks that did not mean death, but something far worse.